so we have reached the end of the 2021 part of the season because when the Lions play the Seahawks Sunday, we will be officially entered into the new year of 2022. So yeah, we're in the home stretch of the season. So yeah, this week the Lions, they head to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. In a game that pretty much has little to no meaning. Like, it's not even really bragging rights because neither team are division rivals. Because Seahawks were eliminated last week with a loss to Shatoilet. So yeah, both teams are eliminated. Neither team's making the playoffs. Both teams, I believe, are guaranteed to finish last in their divisions respectively. Hell, this game doesn't really have any playoff implications of any kind for any other team. And really for this game, though, this probably would have been a tank bowl. But there's one tiny problem with that. Seattle doesn't have a first-round pick. So Seattle can't even tank if they want to. Because the Seahawks pick this year, their first-round pick is property of the New York Jets. And oh, by the way, that pick has some really good value now. Because currently, that pick to the Jets, that is looking like the 6th overall pick. So that's looking like a top 10 pick. Of course, that was from the Jamal Adams trade a few years ago. And I know that safety in college, Kyle Hamilton's rumored to be going really high in the draft order. So the Jets could use one of those 2 picks to draft Jamal's replacement. So yeah, the Jets could be playing with some interesting house money in the offseason for sure. But anyway, back to this game. So for this game, currently the point spread, it has Seattle favored in this game by 6.5 points. So Seattle's almost favored by a touchdown. So yeah, that's a big margin. For the all-time head-to-head series, Seattle leads the all-time head-to-head series over Detroit 10-5. And Seattle has won 6 of the last 7 meetings against the Lions, including the playoff meeting in 2016 in the wild card round. The last time the Lions have beaten Seattle was all the way back in 2012. Of course, this game is in Seattle, and it's a very tough place to play in Seattle for sure. Even though the Seahawks may not be as good as they used to be, it's still tough to play up at CenturyLink, or in Seattle in general. Because the Lions, they haven't won in Seattle since 1999. So over 20 years. So yeah, very tough to play up in Seattle. For the Seahawks key players on offense, of course the quarterback for this team, it's Russell Wilson, and what probably is looking like to be Russell Wilson's final season in Seattle. Because we all heard about the trade rumors last offseason that Russell wanted out of Seattle. And with the Seahawks struggling this year and the Seahawks really needing to rebuild, I think those trade talks are going to intensify, and I could see Wilson out of here in the offseason. But hey, the Seattle could definitely get a few first-round picks for Wilson for sure, and some more. For the running backs, they're without Chris Carson as he's on the IR with a neck injury. And their other running back, Adrian Peterson, he's questionable for this game with a lower back injury. So mainly the one lead bell cow that they're going to have for this game is Rashad Penny. Receiving core littered with some talent, names like Tyler Lockett. You have DK Donkey Kong Metcalf. You also got the rookie Dwayne Eskridge. And then tight ends, you got Will Disley and Gerald Everett. The defensive line has a lot of talent. Names like Punya Ford, Robert Nikemdich, Carlos Dunlap, Kerry Hyder Jr. They are without LJ Collier. He is questionable for the game as he tested positive for the plague. Oof. But they do have Alton Robinson and Darrell Taylor. And yes, Taylor is cleared for this game, despite... So see, if anyone's wondering how Taylor's doing after that injury in the Steelers game, well, he's cleared for this game and he's healthy and back to normal. So there's that. So that's really good news to see because that was a nasty injury he took in that Steelers game. Linebacking core led by Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, and Jordan Brooks. And the secondary is without Jamal Adams as Jamal's on the IR with a shoulder/labrum injury. Oof. The secondary, though, the one person that will be stepping up to lead the secondary, of course, you have Quandre Diggs, the former Lion. And oh, by the way, I should mention for this game, this is going to be Quandre Diggs' first game against his old team. So yeah, Diggs is going to have revenge on his mind, so maybe this meaningless game does have some little meaning to it, but not a whole lot of it. For the rest of the secondary, you got Akello Witherspoon, you got Pierre Desir, and Trey Flowers. And then the last piece in the secondary, they are going to be without DJ Reed, as Reed is questionable for the game as he tested positive for the plague. Oof. So, yeah. Of course, the head coach of the squad is Pete Carroll, as this may or may not be Carroll's last season in Seattle. Now, for Carroll, I don't think Seattle will fire Carroll for this season, but I do think Pete Carroll could potentially retire. Because he is getting up there in age. And I think, you know what? I think Carroll is becoming part of the problem in Seattle. To be honest, though, I think the Seahawks have a number of problems, but I think Carroll is just one of many problems in that team. Like, that team has a lot of issues, for sure. The offensive coordinator, you got Shane Waldron. And then the defensive coordinator, you got Ken Norton Jr. The Seahawks offense so far. Offense, it's been ranked 25th. They're 28th in the passing game and 20th in the rushing game. I think part of those low rankings was the number of games that Russell Wilson missed from that hand injury. But the Seahawks defense, this defense is not what it used to be. The defense is ranked 30th. They are the third worst defensive unit in the league. And like in terms of the passing game, they are the second worst defense against the pass at 31st. But oddly enough, against the run, Seattle is mid-pack against the run, as they're ranked 6th. Their defense is ranked 16th against the run. So this defense can stop the run, but anytime you put them into a 3rd and long situation, they can't stop it. So yeah, gonna be tough to run the ball, but could find some openings in the secondary. So yeah, for this game, it's weird. Usually between Detroit and Seattle, these games are pretty weird. It's usually either A, a low-scoring game, or B, it ends up being a blowout in the other team's favor. Like, these games are pretty weird. So, yeah, and looking at both teams' struggles this week, and oh, yeah, for the Lions, Jared Goff is going to be back this week. So, yeah, for this game, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I think the Seahawks edge it out on, probably a last-second field goal. You know, I think it's tough to play in Seattle, and considering that we're playing in January weather in Seattle, and we all know Detroit, it's going to be a cold weather game, and we all saw the weather in Seattle last week against Chicago when it was snowing. The weather's probably going to be something similar to that Sunday, or just very cold. But regardless, cold weather game, and we all know the Lions' history in cold weather games. It is piss fucking poor. The Lions usually struggle in cold weather games, so I feel like Seattle's going to win this game. The one thing I should mention for this is that, in terms of the Tank Bowl standings, if Detroit wins this game and Jacksonville loses to New England, Jacksonville clinches the first overall pick with a loss and a Detroit win. So if Detroit wins this game, they potentially lose out on the first overall pick. Even though, hey, any given Sunday, but I highly doubt Jacksonville's beating New England Sunday. I highly doubt it. But one thing I do know for sure is that if Detroit loses this game, Detroit automatically clinches at least the second overall pick. And if Detroit does lose this game, then the Tank Bowl goes all the way down to the final week of the season next week. But yeah, if Detroit loses and Jacksonville somehow beats New England, then Detroit goes back to number 1. But yeah, if Detroit loses, they're guaranteed at least a top 2 pick in the draft. Either that or if Houston beats San Francisco, which, hey, I doubt. But hey, we all doubted Houston against the Chargers last week, and they beat the Chargers. So, hey, any given Sunday, any good team can have a bad day. But yeah, this game, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. If Detroit wins, it's just a win. It really doesn't mean anything. If Seattle wins, it's just a win. It doesn't really mean anything. This game's pretty meaningless. It's a meaningless game. Not a whole lot on the line. If Seattle wins, all it does is just damage the draft position for the Jets, which that should be Seattle's goal. Get that pick to lose as much value as possible, since it's currently looking like a top 10 pick. But yeah, I think the Seahawks win this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Not really much to look forward to. Just, hey, only 2 more weeks of the season left. Only 2 more weeks left. And to be honest, I think a lot of Lions fans aren't going to be really focused on this game this Sunday. As Lions fans will be more focused on New Year's Eve when Michigan takes on Georgia in the Orange Bowl. With the winner of that game playing Alabama. Come on, be realistic. Alabama's not losing to Cincinnati. No chance in hell. But yeah. Not a whole lot of implications for this game. Yeah, the only real implications are for Detroit in the Tank Bowl, and that's really about it. So, yeah, not much to say. This game's going to be pretty meaningless. It's kind of sad and depressing to see how far Seattle's gone. They're definitely not the same team they used to be. But yeah, for Seattle's issues right now, I only have one solution for this problem, Seattle. It's a very clear-cut solution. Blow it up. Rebuild. Bring on the youth movement and sell everything. If the Seattle does blow it up, it probably means they're going to have to part ways with Russell Wilson and trade him in the offseason. They definitely could get a huge haul for Wilson in the offseason. And I'm not sure if Seattle, well, I already said earlier, I don't think Seattle will fire Carroll, but I could see Carroll retire. But hey, regardless of what happens, though, Pete Carroll is still want to be one of the top coaches in the NFL all time. And Carroll will still be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame one day. One day. And hey, Pete Carroll does have one accolade so far. He's the last head coach to win a national championship and a Super Bowl. He's the last college head coach to actually do fucking something in the NFL. Unlike other college coaches that have come into the NFL who did absolutely nothing. Like Urban Meyer, Bobby Petrino, Chip Kelly, the list goes on. But yeah. So yeah, Pete Carroll is the one exception of big-name college coaches panning out in the professional level. A very rare list. But yeah, still. Not a whole lot to look forward to in this game. But yeah, just going to be another challenging game in Seattle. And I know the last 2 times the Lions have played in Seattle, both those games were marred by some ref ball. The 2015 game with Calvin Johnson having the ball punched out, and then the illegal bat in the end zone. And then the wild card game, we had the missed face mask. I'll describe both those calls perfectly. The Calvin Johnson one in 2015, that one, the fans had every right to be pissed at the refs. Because the refs 100% cost the Lions that game. The missed face mask in the wild card game, that one really didn't make a difference. It literally would change nothing. Seattle still would have blown Detroit out. Still would have beat Detroit in a blowout regardless. So that really changed nothing there. But yeah, that's just where I stand with those missed calls. So I should bring that up. Yeah, the question is, will this game be a clean one? Or will there be another controversial ref ball decision that mars this game? Hopefully option A. But yeah, anyway, just a meaningless game, not much to look forward to. But yeah, I think the only good part about this game is when it ends. But yeah, I think the Seahawks won this game though, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Lions win. I would not be shocked since the Lions do have a tendency to win a number of meaningless games. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocking if the Lions won. But I'm going to say Seattle wins this game. So yeah, see ya. Peace.